used to love what I used to do. Man, back when I could talk about Pokemon without feeling sad, feeling loneliness, all those thoughts going through my head every time I think about all the wrongs, all the rights of the world. What have we come to? What have we done? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffle Rowlett, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a look at a brand new rumor that has just dropped. And yeah, hope you guys like that little intro. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, what is up today? Well, today we got a rumor that was sent to me by Julian Sibilio, which also sent me some information the other day. This info comes once again, you know, from 4chan, which is the cesspool of all these things. So, you know, hey, it's very nice. But yeah, so that's all. We take a look at this, see what it's all about, see all the info, and just go through it. So if you guys do enjoy the video, drop a like down below, make sure to subscribe. And also, guys, make sure to hit that notification bell, alright? Hit that notification bell to get informed when new videos drop, because it seems like only 20% of you guys have that bell on. Come on, guys. Come on. We gotta get that up to 50. Come on. 50% of you gotta get that notification bell. Come on, then. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the actual information, shall we? Starting off right here. So, again, shout out to Julian for this info. Let's take a look at the actual stuff that's right in front of us. So, this is, of course, posted on 4chan. Keep that in mind. Take that into account, as it does kind of, you know, impact a lot of things we're going to talk about here. So, I actually have to re-record this video, by the way, because of me not unmuting my microphone, because I'm an actual daft ass. But either way, let's get into the info, shall we? So, Diamond Pearl Remake, Sword and Shield DLC, let's go. Hey, I have some news regarding the future of the Pokemon games for the Switch. So, hey, it seems pretty reasonable. And then he says here, the PC and GF. So, what does that mean? Well, the PC is the Pokemon company, which is kind of the company kind of controls everything, right, within Pokemon. It's the center company that owns Pokemon, but then, you know, Pokemon's kind of got an ownership where it's like 33% Game Freak, 33% you know, Nintendo, and then 33% is owned by the Pokemon company, right, which is kind of its own independent side thing. But here's what basically is said here. So the Pokemon company and so PC and GF, which is Game Freak, we're planning to release the Diamond and Pearl remakes this winter. Alright, that seems reasonable. We've already talked about some theories about that, you know, why that makes sense. But due to the controversy regarding the no national decks in Sword and Shield, they postponed it to next year. So he's trying to argue here, so this is trying to say here that due to the national decks thing, you know, happening, that somehow would have caused them to delay it till next year. See, I'm gonna have to discuss this a little bit later in the video, but I don't know how likely that would be, but, I mean, we've talked about a similar theory that, like, they did delay it for the sake of the DLC, but let's see what else he says here. So, they were also, okay, so he's trying to say they were also planning to release the next, Let's Go series in the middle of next year. Sorry, a lot of spelling errors here and there. So they were planning to release the next Let's Go series in the middle of next year. This ID is now scheduled for 2022, which, okay, so that will make sense, right? Next year, Diamond and Pearl remix. The year after that, Let's Go remix, right? Like, that's just, I don't see an issue with that. I don't see, like, how that would be really odd or unlikely to happen. It seems pretty straightforward, right? So, it continues here saying then, so it's not scheduled for 2022. Sword and Shield 2 were planned instead of a DLC. We talked about this as well, right? Because the way they kind of explained that they now are doing DLC instead and not third versions makes, like, like, the way it sounded was like they initially wanted to do a third version, but then kind of switched over to doing DLC instead. But let's continue. So, this is now being replaced with the DLC. As with the second Let's Go series, I'm guessing he's trying to say, like, the Let's Go Johto game, I guess. From what I'm hearing, will be made available as DLC for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee in 2022. See, this doesn't make any sense to me, alright? And I'm going to talk a bit more about this later, but, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why? Okay, so look at this way, right? Okay, so about 10 million to 11 million copies of Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee were sold, right? You know, and, like, that's how many people bought the game, right? And, like, how do you expect the game from 2018, right, to sell enough copies of DLC to be profitable? Like, how does that make any sense? Because from a purely financial standpoint, right, selling a brand new game like Let's Go Johto is far more profitable in terms of earnings and money and all that sort of stuff. Way more profitable a thing to do, right? Because, like, from a DLC, what's the maximum you can earn from it, right? Like, geez, what's the maximum you can earn from it? Like $30 maybe, right? You can earn about $30 from DLC. From a fully fledged game, you can earn full price, like $60. I mean, they just sold Mystery Dungeon, right? Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, which is a remake, right? They sold that for $60, right? And like 75 Australian and like 799. Actually, it's no 699 Swedish, right? Like it's about 700 Swedish krona, which is almost like $70 almost. It's up in a pretty high margin of, like, you know, cost. But either way, so $60, right? Full price. So why would they decide to do DLC out of Johto instead of doing like just a full-fledged new like Let's Go game. Why would they do that? Because it's just way less profitable. And also the reason I'm saying this is like, you gotta understand, right? And like you and me, right? We might buy it, but majority of people will not, right? And what do I mean by majority of people? You might be, look at this video just saying like, oh, but I would buy the DLC. Yes, but the reason you would buy it is because you're a hardcore Pokemon fan. When I say hardcore, I don't mean that you know everything about Pokemon, but rather you're a hardcore fan simply by the manner of like, you actually interact with the games beyond just the games, right? You don't just play the games, you also watch maybe the anime, or you collect the cards, or you interact with the community online, right? You are more of a hardcore fan because you're involved more with the game, right? You watch videos on YouTube about it, you talk to people about it, in your friend groups on Discord, join, like, you do Wi-Fi about it, etc., right? You are more inclined to buy the DLC because you're so into the franchise, you're so into it, right? But a casual fan, the normal fans, right? The people who just buy the game, play it, and move on, right? Those are the people that they want to get to, reach out to and grab. That's the people they want to get. Why? Because those are the people who majority buy the games, right? You and me, we make up a small portion, right? You, me, and all these like Pokemon fans that are super active online, we only make up a small portion, a very small portion of the bigger casual audience that plays Pokemon, right? And that's the audience that they want to reach. Now, the problem with this casual audience is they will not go and buy DLC for a game from 2018 that they already finished. There's just no reason for them to do that. But you know what they will do though? If you tell them, here's a brand new Pokemon game on the Switch, a brand new fully fledged journey through the old Gold and Silver, Crystal, here you go, they're way more inclined to go and buy that, right? But as long as you don't like market in a poor way, they'll go and buy it. I mean, Let's Go Peach, Let's Go Eevee still sold about 10 to 11 million copies. That's still decent. But, there's been that whole talk from, like, Game Freak that, Masuda said, like, oh, we may not do any more Let's Go games, right? Which I wouldn't trust, okay? They said they would never do DLC, but they did DLC. They said they would never remove Pokemon from Pokemon games. They removed Pokemon from Pokemon games. So, like, just don't trust anything they really say. They could still do Let's Go games. I wouldn't trust any of their, things will change with them, right? If they say something now, that'll change in a year or two, right? So, don't take anything, for granted when they say it. Like, don't, there's like, just like, or rather take it for granted, right? Because like, it just is not likely to hold up for very long. It's going to change eventually. So they could still do that. Like, I just don't see a purpose, right, in doing DLC for a game from 2018 that by the time the DLC comes out, which would be 2022, is what you're trying to say here, will be made available as DLC for Let's Go Peach, Let's Go Eevee in 2022. Like, that's like, what, 4 years? 4 years after the last Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, back to Pikachu and Eevee release, right? Like, why would you do DLC for a game from 4 years ago at that point, right? Just doesn't make, like, now it's been 2 years since that game came out. Why would you do a DLC for it 4 years from its release? Like, it just doesn't make any sense in terms of, like, making profit. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But he's trying to make the argument here that these decisions were made so that the Pokemon Company and Game Freak could win back the hearts of the national Dex lovers. Now, I could understand that, right? I could see that definitely being a reasoning. But again, it also doesn't seem like it's that logical, though. Like, why would they care about the feelings of these people when they keep doing things that are, like, technically anti, national dexes and all that stuff? Like, why would they care, right? Why would they really care? Like, why would the Pokemon Company, it's a company, right? There's a reason company's in the name, right? Because it's a company, it's a business, right? It's there to make money. That's its, main purpose. That's the main purpose of every business, right? It's just to make profit. Why would they care about that when actually profit margins are way more important, and also, like, stockholders' interests are way more important? Like, why would they care about such a random thing? Because they will make far more money by, I mean, it, right? They will make double the money releasing a brand new game, Let's Go Johto and Let's Go, Let's Go Johto, with, like, Let's Go Meryl and Let's Go, I don't know what, right, like, what's a Gen 2 Pokemon? Let's Go Meryl and Let's Go, like, Hoot or whatever, right? They'll make far more money from that than they would make from just releasing DLC from, like, for, like, $30, $25. Like, it's just pretty evident, right, in my opinion. But let's continue. So, regarding the Isle of Armor Pass, so now it's more about stuff that we're more aware of. So, there will be many favorites returning, like Greninja and Ash Greninja from Sun and Moon. That would actually be sick. I'd love to see Ash Greninja return. That would actually be really awesome. I'd love that. I know personally a lot of, like, I would personally love it. I know a lot of people would also really like it. So, I'm on board for that. Now, Favorites referring like Greninja and Ash Greninja from Sun and Moon, Luxray, and Zoroark. Okay, so Luxray is my favorite Gen 4 Pokemon, and Zoroark is so freaking cool, so I'm up for that, and among others. So that would be pretty sick. There will soon be an event for G-Max Melmetal, as they're planning to release a brand new update for Pokemon Home and Pokemon Go that will allow you to transfer Pokemon from one mobile game to another. So G-Max Melmetal event is highly likely. Like, here's the thing, right? Melmetal is a weird Pokemon because it was the first time that they, like, put out a brand new Pokemon, introduced a brand new Pokemon, not through one of the mainline games, but through Pokemon Go, right? It was the first time Pokemon Go introduced a brand new Pokemon, right? So it was a very strange kind of situation. It was really odd, if I may say so myself. Like, it was a really odd situation. And I guess, like, the way what I'm trying to say is, like, you know, them doing, like, another raid event, because, like, I'm gonna be honest, the raid events are pretty cool, and, like, they're also very popular, right? A lot of people love the raids, right? They think they're really sick. So why wouldn't they want to do that, right? Like, Melmetal, that's something that Pokemon Go fans are really well aware of, like, the Pokemon itself, because the whole event back in 2018 with, you know, Meltan and, like, Melmetal and stuff. So, like, why wouldn't they do it? Like, I don't see a reason for not doing it. It makes a lot of sense. And making that connection, you know, it just makes a lot of sense. As for them releasing a new update for Home, and that being connection to Pokemon Go, a good event to do is a Meltan event. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. And then he continues saying, don't think you'll be able to transfer from, let's see, don't think you'll be able to transfer from Home to Go, though, which is sad. I don't know if you will get G-Max Melmetal as a gift in Home, or if it will be a raid in Sword and Shield during that time. I think it's going to be a raid, because I even think that they realize raids are more fun, and people are more likely to keep playing their game, and then also more likely to eventually buy DLC and stuff for the game. Like, that's way more useful than just giving a mystery gift. Like, mystery gifts are boring, bro. I like the raids. I think they're way better. Raids are way, way better. So that's that. As for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee DLC, you will move to New Bark Town with your mother. Will you meet Professor Elm, who wants to study your Pikachu and Eevee, as they are from the Kanto region. You'll have the choice between 3 Johto starters who are able to evolve. You have no access to your old Pokemon until the 4th gym. See, I don't dig this, man. I'd prefer it just to be a full-fledged game, alright? Like, just Let's Go Johto just seems far more, I don't know. Like, it's just, I prefer it, right? Like, sure, I didn't like Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Pikachu, look at Eevee that much, you know, but that's also because I just didn't care for Kanto that much. But, like, I love Johto, and if I can get, like, a fun, like, great experience, the same way I loved, like, playing through Heart Gold, Soul Silver, I'm gonna be happy, honestly, so who knows. But let's see, so that's when Elm gives back your Pikachu. Alright, the story is a little bit different from the original Gold and Silver. Your rival still will be Silver, so that's good, I appreciate that. As of now, I don't have any news regarding DP remakes. I can tell you they're planned to be released next year, which we've discussed before in theories and that sort of stuff. Thanks and bye. So that's basically what we have in front of us, guys. Of course, there's probably more things to talk about in terms of these things, but honestly, for now, that's all we have. And yeah, what do you guys think about this? Like, I don't think Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee DLC is that likely. I mean, what do you guys think about it? Because I don't think DLC for Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee 4 years from their release date makes a lot of sense. I mean, look at this, right? Sword and Shield released last year, and now they're releasing DLC for it. That makes sense, having it so close to each other, right? But why would you release DLC for a game that only sold about 10 to 11 million copies to begin with? Why'd you release DLC for it, right? Like, why would you do that? I mean, like, if even, like, barely even half of the people bought, like, the DLC for $30, like, that still wouldn't, like, you know, be close to the amount they would make if they sold the game for $60 to, like, 6 million people, right? Like, that's just way more profitable. So, I'm just wondering what that, like, does it make any sense? I don't know. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. If you did enjoy, drop a like down below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Ruffle Route. I'll see you all the next time, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.